I want to take you guys back to 2013. It was an exciting year for me. It was filled with so much promise and hope. I was back in my home state. I just signed a big contract, my biggest contract to date with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm excited and ready to go, and it ended up being the darkest moment of my career. It was filled with setbacks, opposition, adversity. My first day of training camp, I went out to a padded practice, and I got out there, my first carry, I get tackled, and I sprained my toe, and I get turf toe, and I'm out for the rest of training camp. I get back ready for the regular season, and I see a decrease in my workload. I see limited reps. I see a demotion a few weeks later. Then I see that I'm on scout team, which means I'm the offensive running back that just gets beat up by the defensive team, the starting defensive team. And then a few weeks later, I'm inactive, which means I'm in street clothes on the sideline watching the game, the best seat in the house. I remember during that time, and we were very good in Jacksonville, and I was going back to the coaches, and I was just, man, just give me a shot. Just give me an opportunity. I just want a chance. If I fail, it's on me. And I remember during those times, I would get a lot of excuses, and I guess I wore on them, and week 10 came by, and it was like, okay, Justin, we're going to give you a shot. We're going to give you an opportunity. So I'm excited. I'm like, okay, week 10, we're playing the Houston Texans, and I'm going back to Houston. I just played. That was my prior team before moving to Jacksonville, and I get out there. I'm the third down running back, and I'm just waiting on the sideline, just jumping, just waiting for them to call my name on third down. I'm ready to go in. First quarter, it's going in the middle of the first quarter, and they say, Forsett, get out there. So I remember running out there. I'm excited. I'm about to make a big play. I get out there. I get in the huddle. Matt Schaub is in the huddle, and he calls the play something like dual right, scat left, all go, halfback choice. He said halfback choice. Now I'm a halfback. So that means that I'm about to get the ball. So I line up in my offset position from Matt Schaub, the quarterback. I get in my stance. I take my steps, and I'm running, and I see the linebacker. He's shifted over a little bit, which means that the inside is wide open for me. So I'm licking my chops as I'm running, and I'm getting there, and I'm running. I remember sticking my foot in the ground, turn my chest, turn my neck, boom, get hit in the chest with the ball, and I'm running. I'm off to the races. The crowd is going crazy, and I'm just excited, and I'm running. I'm taking off, and then I get tackled. First down. I remember rolling over and feeling a sensation that I never felt before in my life. Remember the medical team running out on the sideline, from the sideline, looking over me. At that moment, I had broken my foot. I was crushed, and I remember looking up into Reliance Stadium at that dome and thinking, man, this is the last time I'm going to be able to do what I love to do, be able to provide for my family in this manner. Now, a few weeks later, I get placed on injury reserve, and then after that, a few months down the road, I ended up getting fired. It was for my third time being fired in the NFL. Now, during that whole season, I would go to the coaches and begging them and pleading for my case to be on the field and get an opportunity to play. And during that time, they would tell me 6 words. 6 words I've heard in some form or fashion my entire life. And those 6 words were, we know what you can do. We know what you can do. See, what they were doing, they were labeling me. They were limiting me, placing me in this box. They had this one idea of me that they couldn't get over. Now, all of you in this room, I know, and I've always felt like I was on the plus side of good. And it wasn't until my 7th year in the NFL where I got my breakthrough, but we've all facing some type of adversity. Has anybody ever been placed in the box? Show of hands. Anybody ever felt limited or rejected before in your life? My question to you is, how are you responding when you face adversity? Are you allowing those bits of adversity and opposition to cause you to sulk, or are you allowing them to push you to success? How are you responding? Today, I'm going to share with you my story and chat with you about how better to think about your time when you're waiting on your breakthrough. I realized early in my life that Greatness grows best in the shadows. I'm going to say that again. Greatness grows best in the shadows. And what I mean by that is we don't get our greatest gains at the top of the mountain. We get our greatest gains on our pursuit and in our journey to the top. So we have to embrace those moments of opposition and adversity sometimes. It's important. I faced a lot of opposition throughout my life. I was in the shadows a lot in my life. What I learned while being in the shadows is, while you're waiting on your breakthrough, is that you must excel at what you can control. You must excel at what you can control. I know people are going to tell you must control what you can control, but I believe you must excel at those things because those things are going to keep you until you get your breakthrough. Early in my life, I realized there was a lot out of my control. I grew up in a small town of 3,000 people in Mulberry, Florida. We had 2 traffic lights. Everybody knows everybody's business. We got a Walmart not too long ago, and that was a big deal. We got our town name from a tree that sat right by City Hall where we used to hang slaves. That's the kind of history and that's the kind of place I came from. Not a lot of people make it out to accomplish their dreams and goals and aspirations. I couldn't control that. I battled through my family and I battled through financial instability most of my life. I bounced around from house to house, never owned anything. I remember at times when the power was out and I had to do my homework and read my Goosebumps books under candlelight. See some R.L. Stein fans in here. I remember when I used to have to take baths with bottled waters. I remember times when we couldn't pay our car notes, so we had to hide from the repo man. We park our car down the street and we used to walk home. I couldn't control that. I remember at our very lowest, we were homeless, living out of a motel. And I'll never forget that hotel. It was a turning point for me. Room 108. Still remember it to this day. 2 queen-size beds to fit all five of us. I remember the blue-green, vomit-looking carpet on the floor. I remember the huge window pane that looked over the main street in our town. And I remember just begging and pleading with my dad, Dad, please park in the back. I don't want anybody to know that we're here. I can't stand that embarrassment. I couldn't control that as a young teenage kid. But what I could control was how I thought about those things, how I used those things to motivate me and push me to my dreams. See, I was determined not to allow those things to define me, but refine me and make me a better man, a better person, to push me when times got tough. I had big dreams, and I was going to make it out one way or another. Made a declaration. I don't know how I'm going to get out, but I know my kids will never have to worry about those things that I went through. How I was going to do it? For me, my passion was football. I saw a guy named Barry Sanders on Sunday, and I was like, man, I want to do that one day. He was short just like me. He was explosive. He was on a terrible team. But I love watching him just dip and dodge through the defenses, stop on a dime and turn and make these electrifying plays. I remember going to Publix grocery store when I was little, and I got in there, and I got my first poster, Barry Sanders. I remember plastering on my wall. It said, man or machine, Barry Sanders. And I was going to pursue that. Because it's important that if we're going to accomplish anything great, we must have a vision and we must have a plan. So I had the vision and the plan, and my mom used to say, son, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead, son. So I knew I had extreme faith. But I had to put in the work. I had to put in the time. Amongst the backlash and people telling me what I couldn't do my whole entire life, especially in sports, because I was always the shortest in school. I was never the fastest or the biggest. Always freakishly good looking. I can always attest to that. I mean, my wife can. But there were some things that I had to overcome. So many negative comments. Man, you came from this small town. No one makes it to the NFL from here. But I continued to work. I remember going out and going to high school and moving to Texas my junior year, and everybody was going out, hanging out, partying and drinking. I was doing 1,000 push-ups and sit-ups a night because I knew what I wanted. And I wasn't going to let anything deter me. I wasn't going to let anything distract me from getting to my goal. I remember at times, and I would run in the middle of summer and at high noon in Texas heat, sprinting down the field by myself. Just me and my blood, sweat, and tears, just grinding, visualizing where I wanted to be. In the back of my mind, remembering room 108. I wasn't going to let anything stop me. I remember in high school getting ready to play at a high level in Texas and getting ready for, we won 2 state championships. And as I was preparing for those championships and games, and I was watching all these other kids on my team get these scholarship offers, and I would come back and I would watch these coaches and scouts come watch us play and practice, but they kept saying one thing about me and over again. We kind of know what guys like you can do. You're too slow, you're too small, you're too short, you're too this and you're too that. So I didn't have the scholarship offers because people were placing me in a box. And I remember after I played in the All-Star game my senior year with still no scholarship offers, nowhere to go. And then Notre Dame came into the picture. They say, Justin, we want to offer you a scholarship. I was like, man, the stars are aligning. This is meant to be. This is God's plan. I'm thinking Golden Domer. I'm thinking touchdown Jesus. I'm thinking Rudy. I'm like, man, I'm the black Rudy. It just makes sense. I remember as we're getting ready for signing day, I got a call from Notre Dame, and they told me they didn't need me anymore a week before signing day. I remember being crushed, running down to my basement, running down the steps and crying my eyes out as that 17-year-old kid, not knowing what I was going to do. I remember getting down on my knees, praying to God. I was like, God, you got to do something. I need your help right now. I can't keep doing this without saying something. And during that time, I opened up my Bible, and God led me to a passage in there that changed my life. It's Proverbs 3:5-6. It talks about trusting Lord God with all your heart. Lean not on your understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways, and he'll direct your path. And in that moment, I'll never forget, I felt God's presence, his arms wrapping around me. And I could feel this warm feeling from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. And I felt this peace that surpasses all understanding that I couldn't even shake. So I got up. I shook off everything, every circumstance, every worry, every doubt. And I was like, man, I don't know what is going to happen to me. I don't know what the future holds for me. But I know I'm going to just trust God, and I'm going to control what I control, excel at the controllables, and I'm going to have faith. A few months down the road in May, college teams are in their spring training season, and I get a call. And my dad says that, man, Justin, something just opened up for you. UC Berkeley wants to offer you a scholarship. I was like, UC Berkeley want to offer me a scholarship? Cal wants to offer me a scholarship? He's like, yeah, they want to offer you a scholarship. I was like, where is UC Berkeley? Hey, folks, I'm from the South, so we watch Florida, Florida State, Texas, it's ACC and it's SEC. But I was off. I was one step closer to my dream. I go to Cal and I play with some great players, guys like Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Jackson, Marshawn Lynch, and I came in the same year. He ended up being sort of a big deal. So I played there. Me and Marshawn, we shared the backfield for 3 years. He ended up going to Buffalo Bills after his junior year, and I'm the starter for Cal my senior year. And I'm having a great year, and I'm breaking some records, and things are going really well for me as I'm getting ready for the draft. And I kept hearing some of these same things I heard when I was younger. You're too slow. You're too short. You're not big enough. All these limitations, these things keep catching up with me. Consistently hearing these things over and over again. I get ready for the draft, hearing these things, and I'm getting drafted by the Seattle Seahawks, pick number 233 in the 7th round. I ended up playing for 9 years. I was fired 6 times, played on 7 different teams in 9 years, rejected, demoted, stuck in the friend zone. Anybody ever been in the friend zone? You don't got to raise your hand, just blink a couple times. What I mean by that, in the friend zone, like these teams and these companies that I was working for, they would tell me, man, we like you, but we don't want to commit to you. So I bounced around a little bit. But the reason why I was able to stay around for so long was because I was able to excel at what I could control. My attitude, my effort, my preparation, those things I excelled at. I can make my teammates better around me. That allowed me to stay and walk out on my own terms. Now, that doesn't mean it was an easy journey for me. There's one other thing that you must do while you're waiting on your breakthrough and you're in the shadows, and that is you must build a huddle. By building a huddle, I mean you must have a group of people around you, a circle around you that you trust, that you can be vulnerable with. People that can pour into you and lift you up when times get bad and the headlines are negative around you and there's some bad rumors about you. You need people to remind you who you are and whose you are. It's important. No different when I stepped in the huddle with Peyton Manning. He would give us all 3 things. He would give us warning, he would give us encouragement, and he would give us instruction. We need that in our daily lives. Too often we think that we can achieve greatness by ourselves. It doesn't happen. No one gets to the top on their own. We have to have a group of people around us that's going to keep us accountable. That's going to allow us to be transparent and vulnerable, because vulnerability will lead to growth. It's important that we have that group. People that are going to tell us when to push and when to pivot. It's a must. It's a necessity in our lives. One other thing that we need to have while we're waiting on our breakthrough and we're stuck in the shadows and facing adversity, we must serve. Now, I know it really doesn't feel comfortable hearing this, that, man, I'm going through so much pain and struggle. Why would I want to serve? Because serving is the currency of elevation. If you want to be lifted up out of your situation, the best thing that you could do is lift someone out of their situation. Encourage someone else out of their situation. Love someone else out of their situation. I dare you to do it. And watch how much joy that you receive. Watch how your perspective changes. Many times we go through struggles and we're constantly asking the question, why? Why me? Why is it me always going through this? Why do I always have to take the long road to success? We ask the question why when we should be asking how. How can I use this bit of adversity to make me and mold me into a better person? A better husband, a better mother, a better father, a better wife. How is the question we should be asking. How can we serve someone? How can we leave a lasting legacy? How can we have true impact? I believe everyone in here has the ability to achieve greatness and to have impact. That's what we were here. We created for greatness and impact. Will you unlock it? By serving your neighbor, by serving your community, by making a difference where it counts. See, it's not about, in my career, it was not just about stats. It was about impact. It wasn't about the cars in my driveway, the home. It was about, what will they say about me when I leave here? What will they say about you at your job once you're gone? What kind of legacy will you leave? Because when you're on your deathbed, it doesn't matter how many homes or cars you have. It's about how many relationships have you created? How many lives have you changed? What have you done that's of substance? That's what's going to count. So while we're in those shadows, it's important for us to embrace those moments of adversity and those seasons of pruning. It's important because those moments are going to prepare us for opportunity. And there's a difference between being ready and being prepared. See, being ready is just the emotional state. Being ready. Being prepared is putting yourself in position to maximize your opportunity when it comes, mentally, physically, and spiritually. I'll give you a short story. A few years ago now, I was playing with the Ravens in Baltimore, and we had this 3-level home in Baltimore, and we had a pretty cool security system because you may need it in some places in Baltimore. And I remember in the middle of the night, my security system goes off. It's about 3 a.m., and the lights are flashing, the sound is blaring, and I look over and I turn to my wife, and my heart is racing. I said, babe, I think somebody's trying to get into our house. And she looked at me with her endearing eyes, and she said, why would anybody try to be getting into our house? I'm like, I don't know, but I got to go protect this house, babe. So I'm going. I make sure the kids were safe, and I walk down the steps. And I just got my chest stuck out, and adrenaline is pumping. I go down to the first level. The coast is clear. Look around, everything is good. Kitchen is to my left, so I was like, man, I got to go to the basement. Let me grab this knife. I grabbed the first thing I could grab. It was a butter knife, but I was going to wield it as much as I could. So I get this butter knife, and I'm walking down the steps, and I'm going to this basement level. And the pressure is on right now. I got a little sweat going. And as I'm getting down to that bottom step, and I'm getting ready to hit that switch, and something struck me. I'm thinking, man, I know I have this knife, but this guy might have a gun. What am I going to do? I'm ready, but I'm not prepared. Now, I ended up flipping on the light, and there was no one down there, thank God, but there's a difference. We have to be prepared for our moment. It's not enough to be ready. It's essential that we're preparing mentally, physically, and spiritually to maximize our opportunity no matter what adversity we're going through. Last story before I get out of here is, in 2014, year 7, at age 29, playing running back, I'm having the best season of my career. Signed with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm on my way to a Pro Bowl. Things are going well. I'm excited. Week 10 in this season, 2014, I'm playing the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm thinking to myself, Justin, don't get too emotional. Just allow the game to come to you. Everything is going to be all right. All through the week, I'm telling myself those words, and we get to game day on Sunday, It's an overcast day at M&T Bank Stadium Field in beautiful Baltimore, Maryland. And I get out there like I normally do, getting ready. I got my headphones on, my Beats by Dre. Got my warm-up on, and I go out there, and my former teammates are just hugging and loving up on me. Man, just saying, man, we're so proud of you. You're so happy that you're having this success now. And as I'm getting ready to finish up my warm-ups and I'm getting ready to head into the locker room, one of the assistant coaches that I played for the prior year came up to me, and he was just saying, thank you, man, Justin, we're so happy for you and proud of you. But everyone in our staff meeting is trying to figure out, why are you having so much success now? You're 29. You're still short. You're old. Why are you having success now? What I've been telling people in the staff meeting is, you're finally in the right system. See, when I heard those words, I remember boiling up on the inside. Because he wasn't giving credit to my work. He wasn't giving credit to my blood, sweat, and tears. He wasn't giving credit to me serving my community or me building a huddle or me excelling at what I could control. What he was giving credit to was a system. I remember running back to that locker room, just enraged, and get down to my locker, sitting down, listening to my music, and I'm just overcome with emotion. I remember tears streaming down my face. I sit down in my locker, and my teammate comes over to me. He's asking me, man, Kyle, you check my fullback. He says, Justin, you okay? I'm like, I'm okay. And I'm overwhelmed with emotion now because over what this coach just said, and I'm starting to think about all the things that I had to overcome. Me being fired over and over again, me being told what I couldn't do, being placed in a box, room 108, the rejection that I faced. And I'm overcome with emotion. Now, normally before a game, our coach, Coach Harbaugh, we'll have a team prayer, and then we'll have a pep talk. At our team prayer, we all get on a knee, and I'm still emotional, I'm still crying, and we get up, and Coach is giving his pep talk. And during this time, I still have tears streaming, and I remember off in the distance, there was a teammate of mine named Stephen. And Stephen looked over at me, acknowledging, like, man, I understand what you're going through. And after Coach finished his pep talk, I remember, I'll never forget, Stephen came over to me, and he wrapped his arms around me. He said, Justin, we love you, bro. We got you. We support you. And in that moment, it was something special for me. I was reminded that I didn't get here on my own. I had a group of people behind me that loved me and supported me every step of the way. In this bit of adversity that I'm going to face in the future, I'm not on my own. I got people in my corner. Now, I know you guys in here aren't NFL players. But whatever you're going through right now in your life, whether it's in your business, or it's in your family, whatever issues that you may have, you're battling some adversity, I want to remind you to excel at what you can control, to build a huddle, to serve. And this is something I have to remind myself on a daily basis, now being the entrepreneur and a businessman, constantly now facing more rejection. People telling me what I can't do, what I won't do. Being on shows like the Shark Tank. Hearing those negative comments on a daily basis. Putting out fires and facing adversity on a daily basis. I want to encourage you, encourage myself, just like that day in that locker room with Stephen. Remember, you can count on me. I got you. I love you. I support you. Remember, you got a team here at CityCurrent that loves you, that supports you, that's willing to do anything for you to make you better. Let's go out together and achieve greatness. Let's pursue our greatest potential and have no regrets.